Yo guys, it's Potless Swimmers on. How's everyone doing? Well, this decent Tuesday drops not doing well how you guys are, and and today guys, we're gonna be talking about something that I don't know that kinda is really fucked up this generation. Also something that I feel like we should all draw the strings to and stuff. Now, if you all don't get what I'm saying here, well, obviously we all know the whole Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter, all of that. But the one thing that I feel like that now people should be taking into consideration and dealing with is the fact being with things with, well, catfishing, eating disorders. The fact being as well, I don't know if any of you guys are Little Mix fans. If you've seen Jesse Nelson's new single Boys basically came out like a month ago or so. But technically, on Clever News on YouTube, I seen literally that the fact being that literally Little Mix all exposed Jesse Nelson just over that, just because it was shown about black people. Now, me myself as a decent human, I love all folk no matter what they are, no matter if they're gay, they're bisexual, they're straight. There's millions of us that love folk of a certain race. There's millions of us that love folk of a certain gender. And there's millions of us that love folk as who they are. Because at the end of the day, love is love, and it's just what you make of it. But also as well,
control about what happened to me at school, about losing my granddad, about my mum and dad at home.
Over the years, band members of Little Mix have been pretty open about their struggles, and at some point in all their lives, life was a living hell. So what did Jade Thirlwall reveal about her disturbing dark past? Is she still affected by everything she went through?
it is nuts
Hope you're
sometimes.
ready
It's
for this
honestly
emotional
heartbreaking
roller
what
coaster.
people go through.
The Daily Mail obtained exclusive excerpts from the book The Female Lead, We Rise by Lifting Others. And in it, Jade opened up about a lot. First of all, Jade talked about her experience as a woman in the world of entertainment and how it was vital to Little Mix when accepting their first Brit Award.
The fact that a girl band has never won this award really does speak volumes. So this award isn't just for us, it's for the Spice Girls, Sugar Babes, All Saints, Bells and Out.
She wrote, "We got emotional when we won the Brit Award for British Group because it wasn't just the award. It was the thought that in 43 years of the Brits, a girl band had never won." Jade also opened up about how social media, especially Twitter and Instagram, can be bad for her mental health, and revealed that she's previously searched for awful comments that were written about her to confirm the insecurity she was already feeling. She said that even though she was guilty of typing her name on social media to find out what people were saying about her, she also finds it strange that people go on social media to say something negative and tag her, like they just want her to see it. Well, for Jade, she has had to deal with trolls her entire life, and the details she revealed about what she went through as a child and a teenager are just heartbreaking. Jade confessed that looking back at her adolescence, she was bullied for being biracial, and it left her feeling confused and insecure over her appearance. She said, "Being biracial, I sometimes didn't feel white enough. I didn't feel black enough. I didn't feel Arab enough. On top of that, I was skinny and spotty." Jade then went on to say that her life changed for the worst when she began secondary school, adding that she was the only person from her primary who went to her predominantly white Catholic secondary, and immediately she had no friends and she was an easy target. She noted that her mom sent her there because it was one of the best schools in the area and she thought she was doing the right thing. According to Jade, it was just a horrible experience for her as her schoolmates constantly picked on her. She also said that even in her Leavers book, there are some messages with racial undertones from some students. Yikes. Jade also reflected on the tough time in her life when she lost her granddad, whom she was close with, and encouraged her to celebrate her heritage. She wrote in her book that her granddad was keen on celebrating their heritage and cooking Yemeni food, and that they lived next to the mosque and 35 different languages were spoken at her school. Unfortunately, she lost her grandfather when she needed him most, in secondary school when everyone was picking on her because of the color of her skin and her heritage. According to Jade, the grief is what drove her into an eating disorder. Apparently, because of everything she was going through, the struggle got worse because she felt like food was the only thing she could control in her life. It actually got so bad that she was given a school buddy, someone who would keep an eye on her and help her. At At least that worked out in her favor, because through the buddy, Jade met her best friend, and they've been inseparable since and lived together in London. Aww. Well, with the help of her friends and family, Jade got through the disorder, and while explaining the victory, Jade added, "I was desperate to change the way I looked, to feel more accepted, and going into the music industry just added a magnifying glass to those feelings. I wish that I had been able to shake myself and say, just be yourself. That wins every time." And that wasn't exactly the first time Jade opened up about her devastating struggles. In 2019, while speaking on a special episode of BBC Sounds Life Hacks podcast called I've Been There, Jade talked about how her struggle affected her and how she tried to hide her weight loss. She said that she became very small and used to wear a lot of baggy clothes to hide that. Jade added that having the disorder made her feel like she was in control and that she found it difficult to tell people what she was going through. However, it got to the point when she knew she needed someone else to tell, because harboring that horrible secret like that was obviously really damaging to her mental health and her physical health. She also explained that when she eventually told someone, it was like a weight had been lifted off her shoulders. And guess what? The doctors had told her that she was so ill that she could die if she carried on losing weight. OMG. At the time, Jade also posted on social media about the meeting and the podcast, writing, "I really hope by sharing my story I was able to help both them and anyone listening to the podcast to further understand anorexia and see that recovery is absolutely possible." Again, in June 2020, Jade opened up about her mental health journey and her battles in an incredibly honest chat with Anne-Marie. In the podcast, Jade also recounted the death of her grandfather as the first time she'd ever experienced grief, which then spiraled her struggles. Jade also stressed how it was just about control for her, adding,
I think looking back now, I realise it was definitely me just trying to gain control of something. I had no control over what happened to me at school, about, losing my granddad, about my mum and dad at home.
Of course, the conversation encouraged a lot of people with the same struggle, and one fan wrote in response, "Hearing Jade speak about mental health gives me a boost of confidence and motivation to speak about it. I do it by myself in my room while watching the interview, and after that, I feel like I can talk to anyone close and dear to me because I feel reassured they would listen." So, Jade said in the book, The Female Lead, We Rise by Lifting Others, that one of the things that literally saved her life was auditioning for X Factor and eventually being part of Little Mix. Wait, did you know that she actually auditioned 3 times? The first time Jade did X Factor, she was 15, and she didn't want anyone to know. Well, you can't really go to a show like that and expect people won't find out, especially after getting 3 yeses. In fact, the show made her so conspicuous when they sent a camera crew to her school, and she had to stand on stage and say, "I'm through to boot camp." Unfortunately, Jade got sent home in the first week, and she said it was humiliating and, as a teenager, the worst thing in the world. However, weirdly, being seen on the telly scored her a few cool points at school. Funny what a few seconds of fame can do to a kid, right? And even after the humiliation, Jade went back to the show for the second time when she was 17. It was the year that One Direction was put together, and there was a girl band called Belle Amy, but she didn't get in. But you know what they say about the third time? It's a charm. In the book, Jade said that the third time she didn't actually want to go on X Factor, but her older brother, who's always been a big champion of hers, was like, "Jade, just go. I know how much you want this, and you never know. Third time lucky." The rest, as they say, is history. While Jade is in a much better place than her teens, she also said in the book that she still struggles with her mental health, and social media often fuels her anxiety. But what do you think of everything she had to go through? Sound off in the comments section below, and check out this other video for another insight into what your favorite stars actually go through behind closed doors.
Okay. Now, what the hell what do I actually need to say this? Well, literally there's 1 in 4 million folk on this planet, obviously. You'll get folk that will have Down syndrome, you get folk that have autism, you get folk that have dyslexia, ADHD, a load of different basic shit, to be honest, and there's a lot of folk that go through things, and technically, all of these as well, like most of these videos that I've done on this stuff, it can all lead to signs of, well, suicide, or, basically just people just feeling depressed, or just no wanting to talk to folk, and this is why, guys, that us as humans, us as, well, human beings on this planet, why we should learn to reach out to folk, why we should learn to reach out and actually say what's up with us, because it technically isn't even going to get better if people just keep holding it in. And I know that, yeah, I do a lot of these videos where basically I talk a lot about this stuff, and I try and like support you guys in that, but the reason behind it as well is because when you realise that some people just don't have like a voice, or they just don't feel themselves, that's why you just want to be there for some folk. And that's why I do what I do with, well, these motivation videos, why I do my best with like all of the other wee videos where I'm talking about mental health and depression and anxiety and stuff. And this is why I always try and do wee bits just to give like folk pick-me-ups basically, and just to help them out. So please guys, just don't be scared to show your true emotions. Don't be scared to reach out, because there's literally CAMHS, Samaritans, there's like your GP, there's tons of helplines out there that would pretty much help you guys, because literally even YouTubers like, you know, Moggs or Mr. Beast, or just basically really big ones as well, including myself, we could all go through the same shit, to be honest. And there's people that do not know what to do. But honestly guys, just check on your homies, because you do not know what they're dealing with behind closed doors, and just look after yourselves. And peace.